I've been in the agency space for around 4 years now, coming up to five. I started when I was 19 and I'm now 24. But throughout that 4 years, I never made any real progress. Only recently, when I started this brand new agency and I moved to Thailand to finally focus and lock in, have I made really good progress. And when I say progress, I mean that I have a system, I've built a system where I can sign one client per week on demand. Now, the way I did that was through systems thinking and internalizing systems thinking. Because throughout the 4 years that I was struggling, I realized that everyone speaks about mindset, but no one actually tells you what exactly is it about your mindset that's not allowing you to build a business. And I think the main point is thinking in systems, because that's how billionaires think. The person that introduced me to systems thinking was Sam Ovens, and his video actually is called Systems Thinking: How Billionaires Think. I watched that video a few years ago, but I never internalized his advice. Only recently, when I started my email marketing agency when I came to Thailand, and I was getting a 0.2% appointment booking rate when I first started. Right now, that's average. That's what most people are getting. But I wasn't happy with those results. I was so dissatisfied. So I reached out to my mentors, and they actually told me to scale with the 0.2% appointment booking rate. And I thought they were insane. I was not. I went against their advice. And I reached out to one of the people in the space. I knew he was getting a 1.8% appointment booking rate. I reached out to him and I was thinking, what the fuck is he doing that I'm not doing? So I reached out to him, asking for advice, and he basically told me, you need to think in systems, see it as a machine. And I took that advice really seriously. I had that conversation with him 3 to 4 weeks ago, somewhere in between that. And since then, my recent email campaign is on a 2% appointment booking rate, meaning that I've 10x'd the results I've been getting just from that one piece of advice. Systems thinking is what makes business easy. And the thing is, it's not just in business that you need to think in systems. Everything is a system. Nature itself is a system. If you want a healthy body, you need to see it as a system, because inputs equal outputs. That's the whole premise of seeing things as a system. Inputs equal outputs. If your inputs are shit, then your outputs are going to be shit. If you want to be healthy, then you can't eat shit food, because shit food being your input means that an unhealthy body would be your output. So if you want a healthy body, then you need the inputs to be good food and exercise. That's it. Those inputs equal a healthy body as an output. It's the same thing with content, because everything is interlinked. It's not just the fact that I was using systems thinking in my email campaigns that got me to this point. It's the fact that I really internalized systems thinking and I started thinking in systems in every aspect of my life. For example, if your input is not sleeping good, then your output would be not being able to focus when you are trying to work, because sleep is such an important part of your life and your focus and your health. So the same thing counts for content too, because everybody consumes content. Even the top entrepreneurs, they consume content, because if you're not consuming content, then where are you getting your information from? You have to consume some form of content to know anything. The problem is most people consume shit content. They're all on TikTok, Instagram, just consuming slop. What top entrepreneurs do is they read books and listen to trusted mentors. For example, one of my mentors is Sam Ovens. He's actually the person that introduced me to systems thinking, like I mentioned before. His YouTube video was titled Systems Thinking: How Billionaires Think. I watched that a few years ago. I never actually internalized his advice up until recently. And since I did internalize that advice, I've actually made so much progress. Think about it. I have a system that brings me one client per week. That's insane. And that all came because of systems thinking, not just in business, but in all aspects of my life. Because I can only focus when it comes to my work hours, because my inputs are good. I don't eat shit food, I don't get brain fog, and I don't consume garbage content. Everything is interconnected, because even your life, you can see it as one big system. The output of your life and how content you are, how fulfilled you are, how much of your goals you've achieved, that all depends on the inputs you gave the system. I hope that made sense. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. If you do happen to be an agency owner or consultant and you need help with systemizing your client acquisition, then you can get in touch. There's a link in the description where you can book a call with me or someone on my team. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next week.